Nicolas and I have just talked about like a concept that he discovered for his music and also for teaching his students, and it's all about purpose and the purpose maker. So, Nicolas, can you explain me what a purpose maker is?
Absolutely. The purpose maker is a nice little mental metaphor that I've come across. I came across it through my own practice of my own art output, art and music. And more, especially recently, I've made experiments of gently introducing students to it, some very advanced students, some beginner students, like completely beginner. And as far as I can tell, it really works. So I can explain it to you in two parts: how I've understood it, and then how it works for students, my students, and of course, people watching this video.
Awesome.
Does that work for you?
Yeah, let's go.
Works for me. So, the purpose maker is this mental metaphor. What do I mean? I separate the process of making music into a lot of little different parts. I do that. The biggest reason is so that I'm not responsible. I mean, I don't need to beat myself up ever. If it doesn't work, I always know who to go in my head and say, hey, bro, do your job. So, yes, all those little processes are in my head, but none of them are my ego or my value or how I look towards somebody or a scene. All that stuff I was kind of associating with music making when I was a teenager or in my first years is gone. So, here's how it works. Making music is not about traditional traditional music parameters. It's not about melody, harmony, rhythm, orchestration, timbre, and structure.
Hmm.
It's not about record engineering, um, mix down, sound design, synthesis, all that stuff. I already knew that music was about intention. What sort of thing am I trying to make? Oh, I'm trying to make a banging techno track. I'm trying to make a chill Ilbian thing, whatever. I'm going to try to make some pop songs mixed with blah, blah, blah. Cool. It's already top level. It's a one-line description, but it's still very meat and potatoes. It's still related to the music words and the music techniques or genre.
Yeah.
More recently, very, very recently, I kind of discovered a level above that, which I call the purpose maker. The purpose maker is very, very simple. It's the part of the process that says why we're going to do things. And then it's like really about being alive, being in relationships, being in society, being in a community. Why do I do this? It can be as simple as to express myself. It can be to inspire. It can be specific. It can be, I am doing this because I feel a calling to get people moving for the purpose of being fit and entertain and also connected and grounded. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's sort of like the athletic yoga scene, I guess, if there was such a thing. It can get as simple or as complex. Every person at every moment, it'll be different.
Mm.
But the point is, the purpose maker is really in like day-to-day vocabulary, man. It's not music, it's not engineering. It's like really, it's meaning, it's emotions, it's movement, it's life, it's body, it's like life. It's why do anything? Because I want to accomplish this. I want to get people together. I want to inspire that. I want to calm down. It's the most tangible level I could ever find so far.
Yeah. And
And that's it. That's really it. That's the shortest I can explain it.
awesome. And you told me that from your experience, once you have a more and more clear answer to this purpose question
For a specific project, yeah.
for a specific project, or maybe even
Yeah.
an overlying thing,
Yeah, sure.
all the parameters below, like musical parameters or technical ones, kind of fall into place, so it gets very clear what you
Yes.
need to do. Is this right?
Yes. Do you know why?
I have no idea, but I'm interested in yours.
I'll tell you why. Because any decision about composition or production is no longer, is it good? Am I good enough? Will this DJ like it? Will this colleague like it? All that collapses because the way to appraise if something is appropriate or not, good or not, is very, very simple. There's only one question to ask. Does this serve the purpose?
Yeah. And a few people watching this might ask themselves, okay, how can I find the purpose? Do you have an
It's a
example
good
how you would do
question.
this?
That's a tricky one. It's like, yo, Nick, Gail, it sounds great, but WTF? How do I find that? Okay, so I found one method which certainly works for me, and I've been trying it with a few students, some very advanced students, some beginner. Very gently, I said, okay, it's an experiment, and seems to work. So this is one way I found. First of all, is you separate all the different parts of the process in a little map in your head. I really like the theatrical version, so I make little people. Let's keep it simple. Let's get 4 of them. One is the traditional music composer. All right, so if we need melodies, harmonies, rhythms, riffs, syncopation, like the beat, the MIDI clips, that's Mr. Traditional Music. If we need some production, mix down, sound design, EQs, filters, all right, that's the team at the music production auto body shop mechanics. They've got all their tools. It's really kind of muscular, it's all right, let's get the work done. Then kind of above that is the abstractionist. The abstractionist is very interesting because the abstractionist's job, I always see him as this character with a long horizontal hamburger sort of extension body. It's super weird. The abstractionist's job is to translate between the non-musical vocabulary and the musical vocabulary. So the abstractionist, what I used to call the master of intention, is the layer that says, all right, music and production guys or girls, do this, do that, and this is the plan. It's the architect. But where does the architect get its orders from? Who's the visionary? That's the purpose maker. Now, you've got those 4 characters in your mind. Hopefully people at home are following. We did it pretty fast now. We've got the one character who's the purpose maker. The purpose maker never talks about melodies and rhythms. The purpose maker talks about life and meaning. All right, so first of all, the purpose maker is not us. We separated in our brain. Okay, that's a separate process. No more ego, no more responsibility. We trust the purpose maker will do its job. If that's hard for you to do and you don't really believe me, then let's play a game. Let's play pretend. Let's just try it. We know it doesn't work, but whatever. We'll just try it. Let's create a fake purpose maker. Let's do the game of putting the purpose maker to work. And all this is a game, right? But you see what I'm saying. Doing the whole thing as a game or for real, in the end, is the same thing. The purpose maker, we say, all right, we need kind of a mission. What are we doing and why? And if we come up with a blank, that's cool. Purpose maker will keep on working for us even if we're not micromanaging. Today, in 10 minutes, in an hour, tomorrow morning, and you have to have trust that purpose maker will do its job. The last step, and you got to get a bit involved or use your eyes or lend your eyes to the purpose maker. Any idea that comes flying in the sphere, in the field of vision or the field of perception of the purpose maker, it behooves you. It's your responsibility. If you want to play the game of creation, you got to accept the idea. If you say a joke with your friends, hey guys, wouldn't it be funny if we did this music project? And in every joke there's a bit of seriousness. You take it. Because the idea field is generous. It's infinitely generous. But if you don't take any of the ideas, well, what do you expect? So to play the game, look, we're just trying to take the first one that comes. And the first one that comes, give it to the purpose maker and tell me, all right, give that to me in a 1 sentence with a what is it and why. And from my experience, if you just let the purpose maker do its thing, Purpose Maker kind of comes back with the answer, and it's just there. You don't twist its arm. You just give it a try. And I always tell students, hey, no problem. If you do that and Purpose Maker doesn't do its job by tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. on your desk, you know what? Come back to me. We'll have a good chat with Purpose Maker, see what's going on. But so far, that's never happened.
Awesome. So the way I would translate this, with my coaching background and psychology background, is that we can ask ourselves a question on the level of our intellect or level with words, like, okay, what is the purpose of what I'm doing or what I want to do? And then make a step back and let, maybe some people would say our subconsciousness, some other people would say our connection to like universal mind, find the answer for us. And this answer will come when we are very quiet. Under the shower, when we dress ourselves, when we play with our children, if we have some, or with our dog, or when we cook, when we do yoga.
Or when we stop for a moment,
and when
even in the studio, literally stop your body and your mind. And that's the game of letting the... Sorry, please go on, please.
Yeah, absolutely. And an exercise by another coach that I really like, called Michael Neal, is take your phone or your watch, set a timer for like 5 minutes, and just sit on the couch or lay down and do nothing. And when I started to do this, I realized how I'm not used to do nothing for 5 minutes, and 5 minutes just sitting on the couch felt fucking long. And
then,
and from my experience, this is really helpful to do, especially in times where you think I have no minute free to do this. Then you need it the most.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then that relates very easily to the more ultra philosophical approaches to a composition, you know, the sort of John Cage or Brian Eno sort of stuff.
Absolutely.
Compose a 5 minute silent piece.
Yeah.
Or how Nicolas I pulled this one on a student recently. I said, all right, friend, got to work on this one. Rule 1, no repetition, no loops.
Wow.
Then this student came back next week saying, yo, repetition is part of it. I said, yeah, but let's explore that idea of repetition. In fact, your songs are not repetitive at all, because it's not a closed loop like a locked groove. It's changing. So obviously there's variation in the repetition. Let's get granular, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But this philosophical level and then the parallel, doing nothing, changing the way we think is really a key.
Yeah. And something Nicolas and I found.
What was that quote? Was it Einstein? Exactly.
I wanted to come to that now. Something that Nicolas and I discovered earlier today is that a quote from Einstein really sums this up in a great way. And the quote is, I think 99 times and I find nothing. I swim in silence and the truth comes to me.
Yes.
Yes.
I guess that's the exercise of the different characters in the brain. When you say, hey, Purpose Maker, go find it for me, it means all the rest of you is on break for that and can go do other stuff.
Yeah. Nice one.
I would invite anybody who's watching who has questions to, is it type questions? Dude, this is actually the first time I do a conversation via GTV. What's the format? Is there comments
it's
or
like
direct message,
comments.
I guess?
It's like comments.
Cool. So yeah, anybody who's got questions or literally comments or wants to go deeper in the process, leave us a comment. We'll be posting this on anywhere it's posted. So get involved. And Georg,
Yeah, we'd love to.
absolute pleasure to dive in the ideas with you. Thank you.
Same. Thank you so much.